Next up, we have Seekers by Troy Nolting versus How to Solve Your Own Murder. Fantasy versus murder mystery. So How to Solve Your Own Murder was book 1 before How to Seal Your Own Fate in the Castle Knowles files, and that was my first introduction to Kristen Perrin. I really loved those books, that series. Seekers was a YA fantasy self-pub. I really enjoyed it, but I had questions at the end of it. And it felt like not everything that should have been resolved was quite resolved. So I'm going to give this one How to Solve Your Own Murder. Next up is The Demon's Dagger, which was a Sphinx novella, versus The Garden Gnome by Jeff McIntyre. I loved The Garden Gnome, and Bob, our gnome, was so precious. The Demon's Dagger, I had so many questions for. I finished that novella really confused also. So I'm going to give this one to The Garden Gnome. Next up, we have A Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The collection, not just the short story, which I didn't know was a short story until I saw that collection, versus Deadbeat. This is a hard one. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a classic. It's more at novella length, but it was in a collection of short stories. Some of them were longer than others. Deadbeat is, of course, a Dresden novel, which I love all of them. I'm going to give this one to Deadbeat because while I loved the novella Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I didn't love all of the stories in that collection, and I am doing this based off of the books and not the story within the short story itself. So this one is going to go to Deadbeat.